Yes. The reasonable person, a hypothetical person used as the legal standard, especially to determine whether someone acted with negligence, specifically, a person who exercises the degree of attention, knowledge, intelligence, and judgment that society requires of its members for the protection of their own and others' interests. Oh, the reasonable person acts sensibly, does things without serious delay, and takes proper but not excessive precautions. See the restatement second of torts 283b. Oh, also termed reasonable man, prudent person, ordinary prudent person, reasonably prudent person, and highly prudent person. See reasonable care under care. Oh, a reasonable man connotes a person whose notions and standards of behavior and responsibility correspond with those generally obtained among ordinary people in our society, yeah, at the present time, who seldom allows his emotions to overbear his reasons, and whose habits are moderate, yes, and whose disposition is equable. He is not necessarily the same as the average man, yes, a term which implies an amalgamation of counterbalancing extremes. Solomon on the Law of Torts 56. Yeah. Now, what reasonable person, yeah, wouldn't expect that you would admit the evidence that someone accused of a crime didn't commit the crime? And then what reasonable person, yes, wouldn't expect that any academic that does know about fraud and forgery wouldn't obligate, yes, as in you would obligate law enforcement? And then how many reasonable people, known as the parents of students, would want their students graduating at 19 and a half years old? Oh. See these hypothetical persons known as citizens? Yeah, that happen to be in jury pools. Yes, that sit on juries. They're going to want my attorneys to explain to them why it's unreasonable right now. See, usually the jury is made up of my peers. Yeah. And they're the ones that are going to find out why you would do what's unreasonable. That's where the negligence is, and that's where the tort lawsuits are. Now, for every Christian institution in the United States of America that has the authority to issue ordination, licensing, and credentials, yes, so that you can issue tax deductible receipts for the gifts given for the use of the ministry of Christianity. The jury might not be Christian, but when you have the authority to deprive the United States of taxation, yes, because you credentialed them, pooh. Not only is it the mandatory reporters that were obligated to require law enforcement to remove my sons from that school, right? It's all of those that are credentialed, yes, that can receive tax deductible gifts for their missions. Oh, for their ministries, for their academic institutions of religion. Pooh. That when I tell Princeton, well, you are negligent, because any reasonable person would believe that as soon as you did have knowledge of, it's known as the jury, yeah. They are selected because of being reasonable persons that will want to know why all the faculty of Princeton isn't personally liable. Yes, Princeton isn't liable itself. Yes, and then they're not liable for the tort liability. Right? Oh, look at that. The restatement second of torts. Now, for all of Christianity that thought that I couldn't sue you as one religious institution, pooch, how would every institution of Christianity like to get a big fat tort lawsuit? Because I will sue you for the actual ownership of every robe. And then I will sue the individual faculty for the violating of their. Well, you can actually have tort lawsuits that involve large groups of institutions known as a religion. Pooh! And I am that American citizen that will completely strip away all of Christianity with a big fat fucking tort lawsuit right now because of you.